Josh what?
Yep, you just picked my new last name.
Okay, I'd like to get you somewhere where you're not in the middle of the road.
I'm not in the middle of the road, dude.
We're going to talk again.
Welcome to In Search of Missing in America. This podcast is done with the intention of bringing awareness to missing persons cases. No suspects are ever identified. These recordings are featured only to help bring the missing home to loved ones.
Hey, Pa, it's Josh. I'm up in PA at the pier, and I think I just gave away my truck. I know I did. You'll see. Been crazy, but yeah, now I need a getaway.
For more information about Joshua Simiskey's case, please visit my YouTube channel In Search of Missing in America. Here you will find Joshua's personal journals, police reports, video surveillance, and stills depicting Joshua's disappearance. Remember, please like and subscribe. It lets me know you care. On October 6, 2019, 40-year-old Joshua Simiskey went missing near the Olympic National Forest. What was behind this strange disappearance? Where did he go without a word to family or friends? Questions surround this case. Was Joshua murdered, or did he simply vanish on his own accord? Whatever the answer, his family wants justice.
I have my own reasons for being concerned. I had just deposited a very large amount of money in Joshua's bank account on the 1st of October. He had called me and wanted to help a woman with a motorhome and even get her some clothes and get him some clothes. I have not heard from him since that several $1,000 deposit. He messaged his father, supposedly, from one of them disposable phones and had said, I have given all of my belongings to this person and I'm in trouble and please come and get me. I'm at the pier at Port Angeles, and notified me, and so he went out looking for him and we haven't seen or heard from him.
It's not like him to not call his mother, you know what I mean? He's a mama's boy, and, you know, throughout the years, he's always stayed in touch with his mom. We've been both to Squim, and yesterday we spent, I don't know, probably an hour with the police up in Port Angeles, and they're basically telling us there hasn't been a crime committed, you know, so we can't even check his bank accounts. There was a bunch of money sent 2 days before he totally disappeared. And the last person he was seen was with this woman that, you know, up in Port Angeles that we tracked down, and he's driving his car and trying to sell his car and giving his stuff away. And she was in communication with Janey up until the point she found out we were in town, and then she disappeared. And like I said, everybody, I ran into, you know, probably 15, 20 people homeless up there that know him and hung with him, and, you know, the girl that he was with at the time, then just one day after this money showed up, he's gone.
I spoke with Janey, Joshua's mother, and asked her to describe Joshua's personality.
Oh, goodness. Josh was always very much attentive to his family, his friends, and even strangers. Josh was really sensitive and warm-hearted and caring about other people. Um, he he did like to go away once in a while and think and be quiet and pray and ask himself questions and things like that. Josh would do anything for anybody, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. He was a very caring, loving, tender-hearted young man. So
I asked Janey if she could describe any distinguishing marks that Joshua may have had, such as tattoos or birthmarks.
yeah, I sent a better description of it to you on the email, but he had a baby dragon that was never finished, and that's on his left arm. I've always wanted a dragon on my heart, and Josh wanted a dragon, a baby dragon, and he started putting that on his left arm, but it never got finished. He has a tattoo of like a barbed wire, and I can't remember where I think it's on his wrist, kind of stating about feeling, kind of fenced in and not free and things like that. So that there's others that I can't think of right now. But he does have a birthmark. I think it's on his head. And then he has a couple of scars. But Joshua was born in Payson, Utah, at the hospital, and he was raised in Utah County. We lived between, Springville and Provo and in Orem and different areas in Utah County here. So, and we moved down to Sanpete County, still in Utah, when he got he turned 17, and he got married at 17, and at that time we moved down here, and he moved down here not with us, but because we had moved, he moved to him and his wife and her children.
I asked Janey whether or not Joshua had any concerning behavior before he went missing.
No, I don't think he was. His girlfriend that he went out to Tacoma with had left him again. She would leave sometimes for 3 to 5 days or that, and then she'd always come back. But she had left again, and I had sent Josh some money, and Josh was doing the same thing. He's with Susan, but he went and got his other girlfriend from a hotel she was at with a guy out there, and took her to Walmart and bought her a new cell phone and bought her some new clothes and that, and then took her back and dropped her off and went back to Susan's. He was I actually texted him and talked with him that day, and he seemed happy and felt like he'd kind of found his life's mission to, be with Susan and become a part of the Ewok tribe and kind of things like that. So I was only concerned that it was such a short time of knowing Susan. But other than that, Josh was very open and caring and deep thinking and seeking his life purpose and things. That was pretty common for him.
Joshua had moved into his father's home in Tacoma, Washington. But because Joshua was using heroin at the time and gotten into a fight with his brother, which caused a restraining order to be placed on Joshua, his father asked him to leave his home. It was then Joshua began living on the streets of Port Angeles, specifically at the pier. Janey talks about those times while Joshua was homeless. He would buy food for other homeless people, cigarettes, or just sit down and share stories with them. Even though Joshua himself was suffering from substance abuse and homelessness, he still showed compassion and empathy to others around him.
That was so common. I actually had phone calls from homeless after Josh disappeared and the police report and my posting on Facebook, and that I had never heard from before, comments on Facebook and that. And then when we went out to Port Angeles and walked the pier and talked with the homeless and passed out flyers, everyone said that they're like, oh, you're talking about that man that had the car and he had money. He'd come around the pier all the time and hand out packages of cigarettes, and he'd sit and share a beer with us and bring us food. And, you know, we loved having him around. We'd never had anybody homeless like that with us before. So now it's so Josh. That is so Josh to be that way with others, even though he's in a similar kind of a situation. So yeah, it's just the way Josh was. They loved him. I still get texts, messages on Facebook from probably a good half dozen of them asking if I've heard anything and telling me what they hear and telling me again just how loving and kind Josh was to them all. That's how Josh was. Very kind-hearted. Like I say, even when that other girlfriend had left him again and then all that, and then he'd gotten some money again, you know, he went and picked her up. He contacted her, picked her up, and took her, spent about $600-700 on her at Walmart, and then took her back to the hotel where she was with this other man, and, you know, then went back to Susan. That's just Josh. Very forgiving, very loving, very empathetic. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you saw that in me.
Janey and I talked about Joshua's children. Joshua had 7 children, 1 boy and 6 girls. Joshua was so compassionate, he even helped raise 2 boys and 3 girls that were not biologically his own. Let's listen on as Janey discusses Joshua's children.
Josh has, I think, 7 kids. He's got 3 different women that he's had children with, and he was married to 2 of them. And that's not counting the children with his last wife that he married their mom, and they were toddlers. And one of them actually, there were 2 girls and a son. And he pretty much raised them until teenagers with Wendy. And one of them got her last name changed legally in a court to Simiskey. She thought so much of Josh. We got pictures of Josh painting nails with him and putting makeup on with him and all kinds of. They had a ball with him. They loved him. Josh himself has 1 boy and then 6 girls. So, and then he has other children that he helped raise. There's 2 other sons, and I think 3 other daughters that he helped raise that he wasn't biologically the father of. But like I say, one of the non-biological daughters went to court when Josh and her mom got divorced, and legally had her name Simiskey for Josh. So anybody that knows, you know, Josh and in our family, they're just amazed that somebody would think they would have to kill him to take his vehicle from him, to get, to use his bank card, and things like that. They're just amazed that, it's just somebody that didn't know us, because you really don't have to do that, anything anybody needs, oh my goodness. If I have it, and if Josh had it, and if I can help and we can help, that's what we have it for, is to help one another. So, and we truly feel this way, and it's not for any gain of anything. It's just the truth to us.
I asked Janey if she could talk about Joshua's drug addiction. She said that Joshua began smoking marijuana at the age of 12, and by the time he went missing, he was addicted to heroin. I went on to ask her what was Joshua's turning point that led him down the road to addiction. Janey said that when families have a closed-door approach to loved ones with addiction, that in itself can be a turning point.
Yeah, Josh had been. I'm a recovering addict, alcoholic, and I've not used, since 1976. I was born in 1952. All of my children have had some struggle with an addiction if they picked it up. I've said I can never have a drink. I have a drunk. And yes, Josh, I'm going to say at probably 12 years old, began, smoking marijuana. It just gets worse from there. By the time he was in Tacoma, there out on the pier, he ended up getting involved in heroin, as well as, whatever other things he was able to do. But, well, I think in the beginning with Josh, and maybe with others, it's kind of an experimental, in kind of a peer pressure. But I think the way that the family system or society system, I think the way that they respond about it is closing and denying and rejecting and not wanting to have anything to do with it, or they just think you need to stop. And it's not exactly like that. It's not that easy. But I think the biggest turning point was when he was 12 years old, and I found marijuana in the driver's side door, my car on the way to work. I called my husband at the time, and he said Josh, when his friend had been in the truck, and I went back and I hollered at Josh about it. He denied it. And then I found out years later that it wasn't his. It was my, at that time now, my ex-husband's, but that his father had actually blamed him, accused him of it. All kinds of things that we do to one another is, I think, turning points for anybody. Jared kicked him out of his home in Tacoma because Josh was doing heroin and Lauren was drinking. They weren't fighting. They weren't robbing. Yeah, they were using drugs. Well, anyway, I think that closed system approach is a turning point for anybody, that anyone has ever had. We're all capable of being heroes and miracles. We're all miracles. Just life itself is a freaking miracle. And that's honestly what I see when they walk in. That's how I see them.
Joshua was not reported missing right away because his father thought he was missing due to substance abuse. In fact, Joshua was not reported missing for at least a week after he disappeared. Janey and I continued our conversation about Joshua's disappearance. She said that Joshua was last seen on video at the Olympic National Forest when park rangers found him wandering down a dirt road. Later, the rangers would drop Joshua off at Shadow Mountain RV Park. You can view this video and surveillance pictures on my YouTube channel in search of Missing in America. Be sure to like and subscribe. It lets me know you care.
Joshua had called Jared and left him that message. And Jared got that message hours later and called me and asked me what he should do. Should he even call the cops? Because he said he thinks Josh is just out there, and messed up on drugs and can't think, and so, and then Jared Josh didn't even get reported missing because Jared said to the Port Angeles police, and it's in the police report. Jared said to the Port Angeles police, "That sounds like something my stupid son would do, is give his car away and take off on a spiritual journey." So it took a good week. I could get you the exact dates from, looking at the police report and that. But it was more than a week, and then they didn't even take anybody serious until me and my business partner and his sisters drove out there and went and met with them and did our own running around talking to people. He was within that same time period from October the 6th, where there's pictures of him at the pier in his boots in the dark on the pier at Port Angeles, to about 1:00 in the morning. There's pictures from the rangers of him being on a dirt road by a lake, Crescent View or some kind of a lake up there, walking down a dirt road with no boots or socks on and his pant legs rolled up like he's been walking through water or something. What in the police report, it breaks down that there was a 911 call come from a person at Shadow Mountain or somewhere in that Olympic Park area that had seen a man barefoot wandering down a dirt road about getting hit by the logging trucks. So the rangers went looking down that dirt road, and they come upon him and tried to get him to get into their car. He did there. That's videoed, and that's on a CD. I'll see if I can't upload and send you a copy of or something, or do it on the cloud. But he wouldn't. He was he was just saying, "No, leave me alone. I don't need help. I'm not getting hit." And then a while later, they drove around, and they went back and checked on him again. And the second time, they talked him into getting into their car, and they took him there at that Shadow Mountain. It's an RV, or a trailer park up there. They dropped him off there at a mile marker, having him promise that he was going back to the Elwha Indian tribe. And that's the last that was ever seen.
I asked Janey if there had been any search and rescues to help find Joshua. She said that the community has performed searches for her son, and the police searched with cadaver dogs twice since his disappearance.
The people, the kind people in Port Angeles organized about a half a dozen of them since his missing. but it's been a community done thing. The police have gone out twice in the last 2 months with cadaver dogs, and they have pictures of it, and they literally searched along the road in the front yard at that address where we got Josh's boots from at Casey Way, on the way up kind of to Shadow Mountain, and then along the road of Shadow Mountain, the edge of the road. And they said, we've said to him, he's not going to be buried or laying on the side of the road and not be seen. Why are you searching there? And they literally said, because the woods are too dense. The dogs can't even get through them. So the PAPDs had been up twice, literally along the sides of the road. I have quite a few people very helpful, trying to be helpful, and out there in Port Angeles, and some of them are homeless and some of them aren't. And I get notified quite often of, human remains found down in the gully or up in, and people they mean well and all that. And I care and I appreciate it, but it's a hard thing to go through. We went up there and knocked on every trailer at the trailer park up there by Shadow Mountain and left flyers. We live in Utah, and here in March with the COVID, we had to get out or we couldn't leave, and I don't know how they'd feel about us coming back, but I'm not sure when the last time was that we made it out there. But I've got a gal out there that, she's, I don't know her. I haven't met only one of them people from out there. But I have a gal out there that's been helping me. She met with the police and asked them questions yesterday and was going to get back with me about what they say. But she was going to organize and try to go up there around the Olympic Park. But everybody says it's just too much foliage right now, that it's going to have to go. I don't know when to go, but they say it's just too hard to search. Nothing else has been done.
Here's where the story takes an ominous turn. Joshua broke up with his girlfriend and began seeing a woman named Susan, who has supposed ties to the Elwha Indian tribe. Allegedly, Susan manipulated Joshua into giving away the little possessions he did have to her and the tribe while he went on a spiritual journey. However, his signature is suspect and purportedly fraudulent. There are letters in Joshua's journal that can be seen on my YouTube channel in search of Missing in America. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes, when Josh did the phone call to his father, it says something along the lines of, "Hey, Dad, this is Josh. I think I gave my car away. No, I know I gave my car away. And Dad, now I need help. I need a getaway car. All her friends want me gone." That was on the video, on the audio. And then Susan had a letter that says, "I, Joshua Simiskey, loving and wanting to be with Susan, do hereby leave her and the Elwha tribe, my car and my bank card and all of my worldly possessions while I go on a journey." And then, signed by Josh Simiskey. That it was close to Josh's handwriting, but it wasn't. It was obviously a copy, because Josh kept journals all the time. Josh journaled a lot. So that's how she ended up. She claims that Josh left it with her, and she had that letter stating that he had. from him, supposedly. And the police just said, he's on a spiritual journey. He's gone. Heroin addicts do this. We're too busy for you.
Janey and I continued talking about Joshua's disappearance. I asked her if she thought the Port Angeles Police Department has been helpful in looking for her son.
We have a new detective now that they put on it a while ago, but they weren't even, I wouldn't say they were even, waiter, waitress polite to you at McDonald's, They just said, we don't believe that's what's going on. We called and talked to Susan, and Susan said that, Josh is gone and he doesn't like his family, so they're taking the whole side of the people doing the wrongs and saying they're perfectly right because of Josh's life situation. So, but even though Josh had an addiction problem his whole life, never once did I ever, reject him or, not be there to help him,
As always, I asked if Janey could share a happy moment between her and her son.
I can. I have quite a few. One of my happiest is finding an old wooden with glass phone booth at a yard sale. And I called Josh and sent him a picture and asked him if he could fix it. And he was living at the cabin out there at the farm at the time, and he said, "Yeah, I can, Mom, bring it on over." And Josh redid that telephone booth, sanded it, and cleaned up the glass on it, and the table and the stool inside. And I was there visiting with him the whole time we were doing that. And, we kind of played around being Superman, and he set up the internet in it for me. And that I have quite a few good memories like that with Josh, but that's probably the funnest. That phone booth was really fun.
Thank you for listening to In Search of Missing in America. There's a $10,000 reward for Joshua Simiskey leading to his location. The police have Joshua's bank records through a search warrant, and it shows a woman who Josh only knew for a short time using Joshua's bank debit card. She had his wallet and his vehicle, which she took all of his belongings out of and dropped them off at a shelter. The family has made several attempts to speak with her, and she has refused and avoided the family at all costs. If you have any information about Joshua Simiskey's disappearance, please contact the Port Angeles Police Department at 360-457-0411. This recording was done with the complete cooperation of Joshua's family.